So for this video, I'd like to go into further exploration on the nature of mind. In the last video, we more or less began to explore the realm of language, which is quite a heady topic, really. A French philosopher who is one of the people who took on the psychoanalytic project post Sigmund Freud. His name is Jacques Lacan, and one of his famous words is the quote, "The unconscious is structured like a language." So there's a reason why I'm bringing it up, primarily because it can't be avoided. It's something that's meant to be enjoyed as well. Words are basically tools of mediation. They're placeholders. When we human beings use signs, we basically engage in mediated behavior, meaning speech enables us to reflect upon the past as well as to plan for the future. We think we speak for the purpose of achieving a certain need or a certain want. But speech, language, and communication, and any systems upon which signs are exchanged, does a lot more than that. So on screen, here is a semantic network example upon which we see that each concept, whether it be basic or complex analogy, are more or less the same. They hold levels of abstraction upon which time exists and is held. We can see this most clearly with children. Like infants develop logic not so much primarily through language. Some of the earlier cognitive development theorists have posited that we actually develop action systems, logically coherent action systems, during the sensory motor period, where we haven't really started to speak yet. It is only later that logic is more organized internally, in more complex ways, but the first symbols are actually motoric, not linguistic. In other words, children tend to repeat certain actions because it allows them to mediate the world. Like, I do what I do because I would like to understand the world. So we actually hold concepts primarily through kinesthesia, and this is what we basically forget the deeper we go into the complexity of human systems. So I'd like to bring in at this point a recorded sharing that I had the honor to witness. You may have heard this before, and maybe I'm playing a more edited, shorter copy now, which is only 10 or 11 minutes, but within Energy School format, we actually bring up this particular sharing because it elaborates certain things around the inner dance. For one, it allows us to perceive certain answers to certain questions we didn't know we were even asking. So maybe I could leave it at that. How about we listen to it and we progress into further exploration after sensing whatever feelings, sensations, or thoughts might come up. You can write them down. You can even write to me certain things that I may not be seeing yet. But before I do play it, the basic context of the sharing is there's something here around channeling. As soon as the session started, there was a very curious event where my friend Ash, who was the lady in this audio, basically realized that I was speaking everything that she was intending to express. It's this weird idea that if someone just began to speak out exactly what you were wanting to say, like what if I took away your power to speak and I basically spoke almost everything that you wanted to say? It basically creates an emergence or a visibility of that which we think exists inside of us, but is actually projected outwards as a thought that we think we are the author of exactly what speaks through us. This has to be true at the deepest level, but at the same time, there is something that speaks to us that is also not us, that is maybe a larger version of us. And this gains ground when we consider how in the inner dance there's something that begins to move through us. And it doesn't always seem to be us. It seems to be a larger part of us that is the us that is everyone else. So one might ask two very important questions here. When someone is speaking, who exactly is speaking? And number two, when someone is moving, what exactly is the movement? Who is moving? Where is the movement coming from? So to really go deep into this discussion into inner dance as a language system, as a system of communication, I would bring up this 10-minute audio sharing that I was able to record. It happened in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and ironically, it was the very day I bought my first audio recorder. The audio recorder broke down, I think, a few weeks after, and I was really only able to use it for this one time. But this is one of the most amazing moments I ever had in inner dance, and up until now, I'm picking up certain things that are relevant, are insightful, and in fact are even new to me. I feel that the audio share certain inversions in the way we experience and understand thought. That thought is actually undergoing a reorientation, a transformation, if you will. And this audio sharing practically frames a lot of these changes that are taking place. So thank you very much, and hope you enjoy. So I need you to share it.
It was so weird. I wanted to speak from the first moment. The dialogue, gosh, it's as though you were the voice of my ego. And the movements, because it's like the movement preempted what you were going to say, which made me realize that it's already in the unconscious, the unspoken, which means every act and every speech and every movement and every intention, it's already pre-planned. It's conditioned already before I even know it's there. When I was speaking, it was as though if the awareness is there, it would not have allowed the mind to go on a frolic of its own. It was so clear because it's the same. It's the same moment.
So, what is time?
There's no time. It's amazing because it's the thoughts that make it real. There was never anything there.
So what are thoughts?
Energy.
What is energy? Who are you?
Just a mass of conditions. Oh my God. When I spoke, it was from a source that was unknown.
What was the question that I asked that helped that?
Your first question.
Yeah, what was it?
When you were born.
What did you look like
when you were born?
Before you came here?
Yeah. And immediately it was love. And I was shocked because that has been my misperception.
Yeah.
That's why when it answered, I was shocked, and it kept popping up, and I didn't want to speak it because I thought I couldn't. It's like I didn't know where it was coming from. And then there was a second question that you asked.
If it coexists, what do you look like after you're done here?
When you asked that question, it was, I didn't die. I'm just a wave of energy.
And so you saw what you actually look like, not exactly as an image.
No, yeah. When you ask that, it's like my body just felt like a shell. It was a skeleton. It was. I was not identified with the body. I was not the body.
And so you were observing
Yeah.
yourself from outside, inside
Yeah.
of what you thought you are.
There was. It was so clear that I'm not the mind, neither am I the body.
Yeah. So what we did was we disentangled or detached or disassociated consciousness from its identification.
Yeah.
And so it suddenly became two parts, that which was watching, that which was being watched.
And the self was just the consciousness.
And so it became perception, perceiving its parts.
It's so amazing because it was neither the mind nor the body, and yet it's as though the self was in the experience, and yet it knew that it was not it.
So this happened because it was spoken to, and because it was not expecting anything, it actually heard it. And because it heard it, it became it. So I was speaking to it in a very direct way. And because that was the one that was listening, it took over the other system.
Oh, it's so paradoxical. It's as though when you give a voice to the ego, because the ego was talking, I need to sit with that for a while.
So right now you're still both of them. You're still speaking from it.
Yeah.
There's still the awareness of both of you integrating, because now you're sensing your structure. So everything that is ever said holds your space every day. You enter the room, you are held by the room, but because you are the room.
But I was not aware that I am the room. I never allowed myself to experience the room. The room never experienced itself. I'm trying to make sense of this, but it was so phenomenal to see the workings of the mind. My God, it's like,
Welcome to the actual structure of the true meditation. It has nothing to do with emptying.
No.
No.
Never.
Everyone's actually been doing the opposite. This is meditation.
Yeah, this is true meditation. This is the absolute truth.
This is the true yoga. When you look at the movements.
Yeah, this is the yoga of Christ.
Yeah, they approach it through form, that they hope they would flow. But when flow awakens from within, now you see the relationship between the movement and the thought.
Yeah, I need, help me to understand it, because I caught it so many times that the movement preceded the thought.
And so thought is actually slower than the movement, because who is the movement?
The initiator of the movement is the thought, but
No, but why does the thought? Why does the thought come before? No, why does the movement
Why does the movement
come before the thought? Because the thought is the expression of the movement. And so the movement is an expression of something that comes before the movement. The body is an expression of the heart.
Yeah.
Because the movement is non-verbal. It is a higher expression compared to the words and
Okay,
the thought.
now I get it.
Yeah.
It's the intention.
Yeah, the energy.
Yeah.
It's the curiosity of consciousness that's always dancing, evolving, moving.
Because if all thoughts are energy, the energy is always moving because it's the intention to move, which is translated to the thought that I want to move, but actually the intention already initiated the movement of all things.
It's the system, original system, that became curious of itself.
So it's the what if.
Yeah, if you look at the word if, it's at the heart of the word life. It's the letters in the middle. And you look at the word death, at the middle of the word death is E-A-T.
E-A-T. You eat to live, but yet every moment you're dying.
You can see how the baby is eating the world.
Yeah.
When you go into the right brain, which you just did, you become curious, and then you move around your field. When you think, you are processing what you're consuming. You're eating the energy.
Oh my God, that means it's like when one is in the absolute heart space, the ego cannot live. Oh, that was so amazing. It was a concept in my head until now. It's like if every single meditator can experience this, it's wow.
Well, they will. This is paving the way, and if the dialogue travels, you don't even need to talk to anyone, and it will, and it is.
Okay, that's so phenomenal because in moments of clear presence, when I'm meditating, I get glimpses of what we just did. But this was like, it's like an hour of watching my brain, my mind at work.
This is 2 hours.
I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, when you were going through it, you were your ego still watching it.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, but you were 100% confident, authoritative even, taking over. Something took over. You relinquished control.
I learned something from this Pai. I never allowed myself to trust myself.
Yeah.
Because of my... that thing that you spoke about me, that I'm always trying to